What?
Zamkoku Waten. Welcome to fucking WeTaku anime review podcast. Tom, how are you?
Tom, please don't.
A bi-weekly podcast in which four friends get together and talk about anime. We're currently at 3 friends in 1 guest mode, but hey, we like our guests, probably. My name's Jovan, I'm one of your hosts, and with me are 2 of my regular co-hosts and 1 lovely guest host. Introduce yourselves, please.
Hey, I'm Thomas, and I just did my first ever retweet.
He's a beautiful
I'm
guy.
hip now. I'm getting on those trends, the bandwagon trends. Yeah, no, I don't care about Twitter. It's just something I'm doing.
I'm Allan. I'm eating a granola bar.
Allan, you don't have a camera.
Yeah, exactly.
He never does.
Allan, it's like $20.
It's not expensive.
At this point, I like having an image for my face.
Well. And our lovely guest, you guys might have seen him before in previous podcasts. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm JD. I've been here before sometimes, but yeah, I'm here to review my favorite anime, Evangelion.
JD, I have to ask a question real fast. Have we ever had you on for a show you enjoyed? Like, legitimately enjoyed?
This is the one I hate the least. I don't hate Evangelion. I have mixed feelings about it, but it's not Elfen Lied. I don't hate it just inherently.
Ergo Proxy wasn't that bad, was it?
I don't think we had an Ergo Proxy pod. I think we almost
I
did,
didn't
and
watch
then it
Ergo
just didn't
Proxy.
happen.
Oh. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird time. Anyway.
I should have watched it. It's okay.
It's whatever. It's fine. Alright. I think I need to up my introduction, actually, just a slight bit. Because I gave you my name. And, by the way, my weebology degree is in Shonen. But also, I think I'm gonna just set this off right. This is the only way I can talk about Evangelion. I have a strongbow. This is a cider.
Are we getting sponsored by this company?
If we just do it every week. Strongbow. It's a cider.
Sierra Nevada. It's good beer.
I'm eating a Millville granola bar.
Eventually somebody will sponsor us, I'm sure. Also, went to ABC today. It's a friend's birthday. And I wasn't going to buy anything for myself. And then at the register, I found this.
That
It's a
liquor?
little- yeah, it's a little
That
vodka.
absinthe?
It's a little alien vodka thing.
Vodka? No.
It's in a little skull.
I like the ones that are shaped like flasks because I don't have to buy a flask that way.
Whoa.
Do you just drink out of flasks normally, or?
No, just like when you're tailgating.
All right, you know what? I'll ask questions later. So, if I haven't decided before, today we're talking about Evangelion, specifically the original anime. This means not End of Evangelion, not Evangelion 1.11, 2.22, 3.33, and the eventual 4.44 that'll never come.
And
Not
1.0 plus 3.33 is what it's called.
right.
Or
Not.
1.0 plus 3.33.
There's another movie that happened.
End of Evangelion?
No, I said that one. The other one.
Well, it's the other ones are just Evangelion split into 2. I can't remember what they're called though. End of
It's also
Evangelion.
like, is there beginning of Evangelion or something? Beginning and the
No.
end?
No.
I
So
think so.
End of Evangelion is 2 movies that they combined into 1, and then they added like 20 more minutes to it.
Oh, I see. Oh, Death and Rebirth, right.
Yeah.
Right. We're not talking... Well, we'll talk about those a little bit near the end,
Briefly,
probably. But...
Well, maybe not briefly, but we'll talk.
Talking only about the super canon original series, just how the author intended it to be experienced.
I don't know that that's a true statement either.
That's my understanding.
It's not.
But
I love watching shows run out of money before the ending.
No, okay, so let's break this down. So what apparently I've been able to like gather is that the current movie series that started in like 2007 or whatever, that's what he intended, but a lot of people don't like it because it's not as unique as it used to be.
I don't know that
Because-
it's gotten more generic. It's just that Evangelion redefined anime. Now everybody uses the Evangelion shits.
Yeah, they changed a lot of things that a lot of people don't like, but
Yeah, whatever. They replaced. Well, we'll get to it. So, until then, let's talk about our spoiler-free things, such
What's
as.
Evangelion about?
Oh, right. Somebody might actually not know that, and that person's better off. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with the
Jeez.
backhanded blows.
Wow.
No,
You
Evangelion.
know, Evangelion is treasured by many people.
It is.
That's why we're talking about it today, by the way.
Yeah,
we are talking about
yeah.
this because it is a timepiece, and it is one of the most influential anime to have ever existed.
It absolutely is. It fucking revolutionized the entire like media.
I gave
Like
up,
Evangelion.
I gave up one of my slots for this.
You'll get it back eventually. It's fine.
Not how time works.
Really how time works. Shush. Like Evangelion came at a time where anime was also like failing, I believe,
Yeah.
and definitely it kickstarted like revolutionized an interest back into anime just because like for all of my hatred of like quote unquote oh so deep symbolism, it drew people in, it sucked people in, and like conspiracies and interest and everything. Like, oh my god, what is this?
Mhm.
I firmly believe that if Evangelion was to be released right now, it'd be a generic piece of garbage because everything in anime is based on Evangelion now.
Okay, so what sets it apart is that before anime was kind of just like either it was a really well done movie or it was a show that was pretty just okay. And then there would be a lot of mistakes in the show and whatever. The director for Evangelion tailored everything to the best of his ability, and he had an experience with movies and other shows before, and so he knew how to. He knew like cinematographic, like camera angles that would be important, like to show Shinji's loneliness, sitting in a little corner, and then having like all of Neo, whatever it is, Neo Tokyo 3.
Yeah.
It's Tokyo 4 or something. I don't know. And like he had like everything written out beforehand. He was like, I want this, and like the implications. It's very biblical, and it's a dystopian future of. At surface value, it's a dystopian future of aliens coming to Earth and a dude who doesn't want to be the savior getting into a robot or not getting into a robot and saving the world.
Yo, Shinji getting the robot is essentially the entire plot of the show.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, did you mention that they're fighting angels?
Aliens, yeah. They call them angels.
Let me rephrase. Did you mention that the entire show is a biblical allegory for some reason?
I did. It is not subtle as far as that's concerned.
No, it is not.
If you guys know anything about the Torah, you'll get Lilith is important. If you guys don't know who that is, that was the first woman according to Jewish tradition. And she ended up teaming up with Samael, who was a fallen angel, and they have all demon babies, and that comes into play later.
And if you don't know those names, well, if you've been raised in America, you've probably heard of a guy named Adam before. He shows up, I guess. A bunch of angel names that nobody knows. Oh, and when things die, they explode in crosses because reasons. So.
Because nothing's ham-fisted in this show.
Nothing. Listen, it worked for the time, I guess. Whatever. Let's talk about music, shall we? Because this has the greatest opening in the history of openings. And then...
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, 4 tracks.
It literally has, like, 4 tracks.
I don't care. Just play the opening again.
It should also be noted that the opening was written in a literal hour, performed in, like, 3. The woman did it at the last second, turned it in, like, half-assed, and then made money off of it to last for the rest of her life.
People like garbage.
No, it's so good. It's not even garbage. It's fantastic.
I mean, the lyrics mean next to nothing.
I don't care what the lyrics are. I don't speak Japanese. I care how it makes me feel on the inside. It makes me feel good.
It makes me feel hype. It's exciting.
Every episode, the openings just get quieter and then louder, and then quieter and then louder whenever it wants me to. And I'll be like, yeah, that's what I wanted.
It's such a good opening.
So good.
And then the ending is a cover of Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah,
Frank Sinatra.
But it's not him. It's some.
It's a Japanese
not
woman.
groupie. Japanese girl.
Hey, you guys want to talk about the opening a little bit more? that's essentially the entire soundtrack.
Fly Me to the Moon's like my favorite Frank Sinatra song, maybe my second favorite, and
I imagine this is how I wanted it to be experienced. My only dream is that there's a robot anime that can put this song over. That's what I want.
Yeah, so with the exception of Cruel Angel's Thesis, which is the name of the opening and is the best opening in all of anime forever, the soundtrack leaves a lot to be desired.
I will say though that the way that the anime is framed, a lot of the time, the silence actually works.
yeah, that was definitely on purpose, and it could very well have to do with the reason that they didn't have much money for the tracks. Also, this anime is well known for running out of money.
Yeah.
When we talk about the ending, you'll understand why.
It literally... Like, I don't think you guys understand just how much money they did not have.
Have you ever wanted to watch the last episode where they just do crayon blobs?
Last 2 episodes.
Sorry, I watched them again today just so I could like have them fresh on my sadness.
This was like supposed to be, I think, a 26 or 25 episode anime, and they cut it down to 24. But it really is about 22.
No,
but it really is about 15.
It's 26, 25 and 26 are the ones.
What happened in 24 and what happened in 24? I don't think anything happened. Or 23.
24 is Kawaru. So that's kind of important.
22.
No,
that's 24.
right.
That's like the third to last episode. It was like really fast.
You
He
just,
like
you just
appeared
forgot
and then he
like,
left.
some bits. Yeah, it's really weird. Whatever. It's fine. So
We'll get to it.
yeah, let's stick here. Speaking of sound design, voice acting.
I actually prefer the dub. I listened to
Really?
them back to back.
All right, I want to hear it. I want to hear your reasoning.
Like okay, at least for Shinji's voice. In both of them, they both sound like a bitch. But
They do.
Like
Intentionally so, I think.
Probably.
But like the Japanese voice actor is like he just sounds depressed. Like
He is
so
depressed.
depressed
To be.
that
He
like
is pretty depressed.
so depressed that like I would actually prefer the dubs. Like
It just bummed you
Whiny
out
voice.
so much.
yeah.
Alright, see, the reason I'm in the opposite is, like, I'm okay with depressed Shinji, but bitch whiny Shinji in the dub is so frustrating that I can't handle it.
Agreed.
Like, we both have come to the same consensus, but, like, or the same path, but they took us different ways. Where it's like, the voice actors do different things, and we both hate the other one a little bit more than we hate the one we chose.
The background characters though definitely Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, like Misato. Misato's super good.
She was not a background character.
Not a background character, but she's not like I don't know.
Featuring
Not
the beer drink.
Oscar or Ray.
Okay, you're gonna prove it.
Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
All right, so yeah, and then the background sounds were okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
Mm.
You get a lot of cicadas, a lot of the same cicadas.
I feel like
The
that
same
was just
cicada.
a thing back then.
It's always a thing in anime. It's a trope,
thing.
but it's a big filler. They definitely use cicadas as filler. There's a lot of
I'm just gonna be honest, I hate the sound design a lot. Like, we talk about the ability to use silence, and Evangelion uses silence well, but that's all it uses well.
Yeah,
There's not a single point in time in that entire show, during the original anime version, not the movies, where I'm listening to the sound and like, man, that went well.
I like the tension track. The battle track is okay. The tension track, like leading up to battle often, or to a big reveal, it starts with the ding, 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 ding. That is probably the best use of sound in it, but they use it too much in the show.
That's the problem.
When they use it in the movie, like they use it once, maybe twice.
Yeah, the movie does it really well, but like, this isn't the movie.
Yeah, I know.
But
But
it's
like,
the only track in the show. It better be a good track. And it's not. It's not good enough to hold up by itself.
Yeah, they're very bare bones. There's not many instruments being used in the tracks, and like they're not,
And it's not even-
especially complex either.
It's not even that thing like where you get in Fairy Tail or My Hero Academia, where like it's kind of a variation on the same one track for like
Oh, yeah.
everything, but like those variations are different enough that they can suit different moods. For Fairy Tail, it's the Fairy Tail theme, and for My Hero Academia, it's You Say Run, right? And like every song basically of both soundtracks is kind of a variation on that, with the exception of a few. But it
that's
doesn't
a-
even do that, because at least those are like different songs based on the one thing. This is just the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
though to be
the-
fair, it takes really careful design in order to be able to get a theme that can
It
fit
does. It
so many
does, for
different
sure.
situations.
It does for sure.
I was gonna
But-
say, like, but Javon, though, the budget says 4 tracks. We only have 4 tracks to use.
The budget actually said
can't-
3. We
Can
actually
we just
splurged.
redesign a track?
I can't remember the other tracks, but I remember those two and the Happy Go Lucky track, which like fucking terrible.
Oh god,
Oh, yeah,
no.
that's-
The happy-go-lucky track makes me want to kill this.
I hear it now, I'm like, I'm in a good mood now.
I'm like angry.
Theme song of my life.
Are you
Damn, the
okay?
penguin.
Oh no.
God, the penguin! I forgot.
Oh, I forgot
Spoiler
the
territory.
penguin.
Oh no.
Look.
Do the penguin.
Look,
Spoilers,
man,
there's a penguin and I want to die.
You guys want to have a shoehorned mascot? Here you go.
There it
oh, man.
is.
Penguins are great. Grape
Thank
Coon,
you.
best penguin.
Oh yeah,
Grape
also, rest
Coon.
in peace, Grape Coon. We at WeTaku would like to offer you maybe half of a moment's silence. Great,
And
alright.
continue.
Yep. Sorry, Grape Coon. May Haruhi take you to the heavens.
Was
Upon the,
Is that
no, Haruhi's just
With-
I don't know.
with
It's
your
it's
waifu.
an anime god.
okay? I don't know who his waifu.
No,
Anyway.
it's like that new thing. I don't remember the name. The animal show. So, animation. This is done in the '90s, all right.
Okay,
The action
good.
the action scenes
Or
are
the
actually
90s.
pretty well done. Like
For the
Action scenes
'90s.
are probably better than anything that came before Evangelion.
Oh, no,
Honestly,
sure. Actually, absolutely.
yeah. If you go back to see like old Gundam fights, they're garbage compared
Old
to this.
Dragon Ball Z is like
Oh,
pretty
it's
rough.
standing around.
Trigon came out before this. Trigon.
Oh,
had great
never mind.
action.
Trigun wins. Wait, Trigun came out before this?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Let me see.
This
I
came
have
out
it-
what? 94, 93.
Where did I put my Trigun DVD? I was literally holding it. Oh, whatever.
Anyway,
I can Google this.
Oh, here
a lot of the scenes are, I think, really well set up. They're definitely carefully tailored frames. Unfortunately, if I can make a reference, I will definitely date this
Trigon's
podcast. I
98.
watched. Oh wow! I
Trigon's
didn't know
later.
it came so much later.
Yeah.
So this will date this, but I watched the new Blade Runner, which good movie, bad sequel. Anyway, I felt like a lot of that had in common with Evangelion is that it would have really well tailored scenes, and then like immediately afterward it would just be a normal like scene that you'd expect to see within the genre, an action movie, or sci-fi action movie for Blade Runner, and like a normal like kind of it felt like a slice of life anime when they were just like talking, and it definitely was not on purpose exactly how they were like
It
moving.
just wasn't like wonderfully directed.
Yeah.
For those bits.
It almost felt like there were two people looking over this, and one
Somebody
guy had a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it really just feel like they just kind of skimped out on everything they didn't deem to be that important. But the problem is, even in like normal dialogue scenes, there's a lot of sameness, even with main characters involved. Even if you're like, oh, we're at the house with Shinji, Misato, and Asuka, and the Penguin, and it's like, wow, these are all main characters. Should we put like any time whatsoever into the scene? No. Well, all right. Hey, do you still have that same shot of Misato drinking a beer for the 98th time? Yeah, we can use that same shot again. Hey, do we want to use a different noise file this time? Nah, the same noise file should do fine. Are you sure? Yeah.
Look, if the ending's anything to go off of, it's somewhat necessary.
Gotta pad out that runtime.
Also, like they couldn't afford to find a voice actress for Asuka that could know how to actually speak German, and they just kind of got this voice actress and was like, "Hey, read these lines
phonetically."
Yeah, just like figure it out. Like, we're not gonna get you a trainer or anything for this. You're just gonna read it. It's fine.
See, I think that's my biggest problem with Evangelion. Before we get into spoiler section, which I think we can jump into soon, I think my biggest problem isn't just that, like, I don't think it's that good, but, like, when there are shows that I think did everything they wanted to do that I don't think were that good, I want to give them credit because even if it doesn't appeal to me, this is what the director wanted, right? With Evangelion, it's just a show that shot itself in the foot so hard with, like, no funding that it's hard for me to get excited about it because, like, I know it's an incomplete garbage piece of package. And, like, sure, what's good of it is really good, but what's bad of it is really bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of variance.
There's a lot of variance.
That's the square, the standard deviation.
Oh, I need you to tutor me in stats. Alright. Do we want to talk about anything else before we jump into the spoiler section, other than do you like it or do you not?
We went over animation and sound. Is there anything else?
Animation, sound,
I think we're
characters.
good.
Characters!
That's
Story.
spoilery. That's pretty spoilery here. Those are
Yeah.
pretty spoilery.
Alright. Yeah, I used to like this a lot more than I do now.
I don't think... Did you used to like this?
I did. I really liked
2 years
Evangelion.
ago, you were not a fan.
2 years ago was the second time I watched it.
Oh, I see.
That's the problem. When I watched it like 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, I loved it. Coming right at, it was like right when I entered high school, I watched it, and
I guess that's who it's supposed to appeal to, actually.
yeah, and I was like, wow, this is very different, and I feel for Shinji. But
Yeah.
now coming back, it's more difficult to watch every time, and the filler episodes are worse and worse every time.
Yeah, I want to talk about that when we get into spoilers about the filler episode specifically. So, with all that in mind...
Wait, but who else like and dislike?
Alright, like and dislike.
I'm
Alright,
gonna go dislike.
Oh,
Allan,
me?
where you at?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I like it for what it does right.
That's it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're like and dislike. I'm gonna say I like it
Fair
for
enough.
what it does well.
Alright. JD.
Okay. I'm gonna have to say that I like it because I don't want I don't want to live in a world where Evangelion doesn't exist. It's this weird robot junk. It's
See, that's the
like,
problem. In a world where Evangelion exists, this podcast doesn't exist.
In a world where Evangelion doesn't exist, we just talk about Gundam.
Yeah, that's all
exactly,
there
and
is.
it's like the same, and it's like, yeah, did you see like that Speed Racer episode the other day? It's like, what?
Yeah, there's no Big O, there's no Madoka, there's no.
I need my
things like Full
weird.
Metal Alchemist probably wouldn't have happened.
I want my weird robot drama, like emotional, religious imagery in my life.
Steins Gate doesn't exist.
So I think Evangelion was important enough that I'm happy it's here. So I like it.
Alright. Well, now I'm gonna feel like a dick. Because you're absolutely right. I'm happy Evangelion exists. It's very important, and man, I hate that show.
Yeah, that's right. Destroy all anime.
I think it's important to hate it though.
destroy all of it.
That sounds interesting. I want to talk
I
to
mean,
you
I
about
think
that
it's
later.
important to like improve on it. Like, definitely.
Yeah, but my problem is going back and watching it is just a painful experience for
It's
me.
important to hate it because if no one hated it, if like the director was like, yes, I'm satisfied with this, I did this, then we wouldn't have End of Evangelion. We wouldn't have the rebuild. I like the rebuild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those are also just the director trying to fix his mistakes
I mean,
and have a dollar.
sometimes the mistakes have to be made, you know?
Yeah. It's just I cannot for the life of me enjoy Evangelion. I can appreciate it. I'm so happy it exists. I'm so happy anime is a thing that it happened mostly because this thing like kept it going. But like I'm leaving it in the past. I'm really glad it did what it did. I do not ever want to watch Evangelion ever again. Maybe the movies. The movies are watchable. But
The movies are very enjoyable.
the original anime run? No thank you. No thanks. And with all that in mind, we'll jump into the spoiler section. So you can pause the video, leave Twitch, whatever. We can come back. You'll be on YouTube eventually if Allan uploads us on time.
Look, I uploaded something yesterday. It's fine.
You did, and it actually picked up a little traction. I'm proud of you. So, with all that in mind, we can jump into spoiler section. Join us. You've seen Evangelion. You already know what's happening. And if you haven't, watch it, come back. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, welcome to spoiler section. As always, I'm going to have to ask one very important question. Who was best girl?
Pengu. Nah, Misato. I like Misato the best, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say Misato as well.
I like Asuka. I feel bad for saying that though.
Alright,
I know a lot of people hate Asuka.
I'm going to give 2 answers.
Asuka's, like, I think the highest rated best girl, like,
Yeah, a lot of
in, like,
people-
a lot of anime.
Yeah,
Like,
but if you don't love
really
Asuka,
love
if you don't love Asuka, you fucking hate
I was gonna say,
Asuka.
I think I'm thinking mostly of, I want to say you, Thomas, when I first watched this with you, and you just, like, hated Asuka, and I loved Asuka. I think that's my
Quite on
memory
the
of it, at
inside.
least.
Alright, for me, I'm going to give 2 answers. My first best girl is Ramiel. Ramiel is a giant octagonal cube prism.
he's not octagonal. He's, like, dual pyramidal. He looks like a D8.
Yeah, it's octagonal. That's 8-sided. Octagonal.
Oh, what?
I don't think that's how those are named.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
I
it
think they're named on, like, how you look at them from the top
Alright,
down.
he's a giant D8.
Isn't that a tetrahedron?
Sure.
Yeah, tetrahedron.
Alright. Ramiel is a tetrahedron that screams. And that's it. In all honesty, I think my best girl is also Asuka.
Go.
I think Misato is, like, too pathetic as an adult. I get it, like, mental illness is a thing that the show, like, very heavily relies on, and they all deal with it. But, like, I feel like Misato should be more trustworthy than the kids, or at least be able to deal with more than the kids, and she just flat out doesn't.
I don't know. I like that.
I don't know how Misato got a job.
I legitimately
most-
don't.
Top secret,
Yeah,
super important military base, and she's this, like, party girl?
yeah. What does she
Like,
do? Play
Well,
tennis
no
all
one
day and at work?
She's like this party girl who, like, never grew up past being, like, a middle schooler and is, like, broken on the inside and can't console children. And, like, man, Misato, I don't know, I don't. People who said Misato's your best girl, like, throw down for her.
Like, you see her call shots and stuff, but, like, she's never at a computer. Like, she's never, like, analyzing anything. She's not, like, bringing her work back home with her. Like,
Thomas, you
she's at
chose her
home,
as best girl.
No, she's got problems. Everyone's got problems. The whole cast has issues.
Alright, why is she your best girl? Defend her.
Because of that very reason of her being the role model, the parental figure to Shinji, and her not really caring about that, and, like, having all these issues pile upon her that she can't even work out on her own, as well as the dynamic. I like her dynamic between Ritsuko and Ponytail Man, which is weird and a little confusing, but
Yeah.
very human feeling though. Just like it's messed up, but I feel like that's probably the best series of relationships are through her. I think they're the most real feeling to me.
I'll give you
just
that.
find her interesting.
Because? Come on, Alan, you don't get to throw in one sentence. You gotta back yourself up. Throw down. Why is she interesting?
No, this is one of the few times where I'm at a loss for words.
Fine. I see. Nothing? Not even one thing?
Nah.
Lovely. Alright, in which case, I want to talk about Shinji's debut. Because
On the phone with the picture of Misato, that
the end of episode 1.
Yes.
getting in the robot.
Getting
Yeah,
in the
the
robots, and then
And he
immediately
was a hero, right?
failing.
Oh, I like that also. Like, so they really set the tone for this show because he's like, so he first sees his father and he kind of like does a big like middle finger. He's like, I hate you, And his dad's like, then fine, I don't need you, get out of here. And so he wheels in Ray, who's
It's like
broken.
dying.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll
she's
let
like-
this cripple girl.
She's like, okay, I can do it. And just like falls, crumples down on the ground. And
Yeah.
and she's just like, I'll do it. I'll be the White Knight. Don't ever White Knight. It's always a bad idea. And
Look, man.
Let the cripple girl get in the robot.
Yeah.
Don't save
Yeah,
her.
I mean, how much better off would he have been though?
Honestly,
The
Shinji's life
whole
would
world
have
would
been way
have been
better.
destroyed, but he would have been
Right.
happy.
Yeah,
So-
he would have been emotionally more satisfied. So
he
it'll all
was
be
living
worth it.
with his high school tutor or something like that before he came. It was
What a fulfilling life Shinji has led.
just happy there.
I don't know that he was.
I think the whole reason he went to Neo Tokyo 3 was kind of like to understand his father, and once he didn't understand his father, he was like trying to like.
I'm stuck here saving the world.
Anyway, so yeah, he gets
Gets
in
in the robot,
the robot, and
then
perfect beam of light just right over his face. Shinji's immediately like demolished, and so have to bring him right back down.
his literal first step, he just falls because he doesn't know how to pilot an Ava, and just nobody told him how.
Yeah, and he just gets
Yeah, like setting the tone for the series. It's hey, Shinji's not ready. Shinji doesn't know what he's doing. But everyone just threw him in here.
We threw him in there against the death monster, and he just
So
nearly
this
died.
14-year-old boy who's never seen this thing before is now in charge of saving Tokyo.
Oh,
Saving
I
the
see how that
world.
worked out.
Oh,
Yeah.
this kid who can't even like eat with chopsticks in Japan, like
Yeah,
is in control of a giant monster.
it worked out.
He can't that he can use worse than he can use chopsticks.
A kid who historically does not fight back is told to fight
Yeah.
back.
Kind of a pacifist, a little bit.
More like a bitch. Pacifist implies you had a choice in the matter.
That is true.
But yeah, like I kind of really appreciate that first episode, I'm not gonna
No.
lie.
That's
Because in literally any other show, put this kid in Gundam and he'd be like, oh my god, he's actually the best pilot we've ever seen. What happens?
Oh yeah,
a problem.
I was gonna say how stupid would it be if Shinji gets in the robot and he just starts kicking ass? And it's like,
what's the point of
What-
the show anymore?
what show is this? Like,
Yeah.
it's not Evangelion.
Well, to be
Evangelion is
fair-
about Shinji screwing up.
It's the first episode, so we didn't know what Evangelion was going to be about at the
Yeah.
time. It
And I
turns out,
think
yeah,
that,
Evangelion's the show about Shinji screwing up.
that had to have been like the green light. Like, what if I don't know if they had a pilot? If that's definitely not the pilot. If they did have a pilot, like I could imagine the board just seeing that and being like, "Wow, that's not what I expected. That's
different.
subverted my expectations, and now I want to fund this." And they didn't enough.
But they gave it some money.
Yeah.
That's why you have in your wallet.
They
That's
gave
how
the
much
director
money.
like $5. Yeah.
Alright. I got a 1 here. He's got a 10. Is that enough?
Yeah.
All right, that's $11 whole dollars. Fucking
Yeah,
throw
right.
it.
Go to the dollar store, buy a camcorder, and we're gonna draw everything out. We'll
Buy
give
your
We're just gonna
bunch
do a
of
flip
pencils.
book. Oh my god, let's see. We're just gonna keep making Evangelion ran out of funding jokes because that's how you cope. That's how you cope with what Evangelion is.
No, how you cope with Evangelion is FLCO.
How you cope with Evangelion is this lovely bottle of Strongbow. Strongbow. It's a cider. All right. So
Dude.
It's a cider.
I don't know what their actual catchphrase
Tagline
is. I'm gonna keep going with it's a cider. There's no good tagline. here.
is.
Strongbow. I'm drinking it. All right. So he fails colossally, and then the Eva takes control, goes insane, and just murder kills the angel anyways.
Not that time. I don't think that's until episode 2.
Yeah, but it's just a flashback to episode 1.
Oh,
So-
well, he... Oh, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're so
Yeah,
right.
he just like wakes up in a hospital and then remembers like, oh god,
He gets his arm broken. That's nice.
that was
Mhm.
fun.
I don't know if they did this in Gundam or any other giant robot anime before, but I like that anything that happens to the robot happens directly, like a 1-to-1 ratio to
I mean-
Shinji. And it's only to Shinji because he's...
It's only mentally. It's only mentally though. It's not like it's mental pain. No, because in the first episode, his Ava's eye gets like gored, and Shinji still has 2 eyes.
You're right.
So
you're right. Yeah.
he only feels the pain, but it doesn't physically happen to him.
He only feels the pain.
Yeah, it was awful, but like,
This 14-year-old boy can deal with it.
That's what makes End of Evangelion so great, is with all the white ones coming down and eating Asuka. I was like,
fine.
jeez.
Yeah, it's
Robots.
unfortunate. But that kind of sets the tone for like Shinji's adventures. And the problem is, I'm not gonna lie, literally from this point until like near the ending, the show feels filler. Because it goes from this like weird, cool, deep thing to like crazy adventure of the day.
Yeah, it turns into Monster of the Week,
Yeah.
which is how like long-running series used to do it, where they're like, "This is the big baddie of this week. How is
How are
Shinji and
Rangers?"
Asuka gonna get past this?" And
Yeah.
it's like,
Or Super Sentai, I guess, for Japan.
but I don't know, like I was kind of engaged because like I forgot which ones matter and which ones didn't. Because like occasionally you have something happen where it's like Asuka gets traumatized horribly this episode. It's like, oh,
That's
I
like
didn't
the
expect
entire
that.
second half of the show is Asuka gets traumatized.
Yeah.
Asuka loses again and takes it worse. Wow, Asuka, you can't do anything right. Asuka, wow, you are literally comatose from depression. That's
Asuka,
So
get out of the way so our hero Shinji can take the stage.
Asuka.
I think-
Be comatose so Shinji can get off.
I think a big point of the show was, hey, this is bad, and it only gets worse.
Yep.
And I think that was purposeful until the end, where it ends on a
The
bittersweet note.
problem is it almost
Um,
doesn't feel like anybody gets character development. It's just watch them start and end at the same person, just like put into a different scenario and watch them break.
See,
I'd
that's
argue
also why
Asuka
I
was
like.
interesting.
That's why I like Misato too, because I think she actually developed, and Ritsuko I think developed a little bit too, because you saw how much more she hated Rei throughout the show,
Oh yeah.
Rip Ritsuko.
which is nice because more people should hate Rei.
Well,
Like,
no,
I-
see, I'm gonna talk about Rei in Evangelion real fast.
Best character.
Rei in Evangelion works because she's intended to work.
Mhm.
Rei in Evangelion is there so that Ritsuko can hate her, so Asuka can be jealous, so Shinji can throw his own affections on her, but confusedly and weirdly. So Ikari,
Ikari.
can like pseudo love her, kind of, but never once is Rei supposed to be a character. Rei is the glowing briefcase from Pulp Fiction. She's the diamonds from that other Tarantino movie.
She's
She's the
just
MacGuffin
an object.
She's an object, and she is meant to be an object.
Mhm. And
Now-
then people tried to make characters of her in real anime.
And that's the problem.
Real anime. This is real anime.
Oh. In
Later
worse anime, actually.
Every harem, most shows, everyone wants to have a Rei clone. And as it turns out, when it's a show where your character needs to be a character, that's really bad and annoying. Stop it. But, no, even though, like, the Rei clone trope is horrible, overused, annoying, irritating, garbage, etc., 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 to infinity and beyond, Rei herself has good excuse for existence. Rei herself was actually, like, if I'm gonna stand on one rock of, like, Evangelion did this thing right, I'm gonna give it to Rei. Because, above all else, Rei needs to be replaceable. And she was. Excessively so.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know who Rei is a clone of Shinji's mom mixed with the DNA of the same thing that they pulled
the
it
angel.
from Lilith. They think
Lilith.
it's Adam, but it's Lilith, meaning it's actually like corrupted. And they use that to create all the angels and to create Reis. They create bodies for Rei. Soulless bodies, and they're able to move Shinji's mom's soul one person at a time into each of the Reis. I think is kind of how it works
Something like that. It's not her whole
And-
soul, though, because some of her soul's still in the...
in the
Still in
Avas.
the robot.
Yeah, and so she
I feel like-
dies.
Yeah, by the way, guys, Avas are, like, basically angels as well, but, like, they're made out of people.
One of the things I like with the show is it really shows a distinction. I don't remember if it outwardly tells you Rei's dead, but at one point Rei dies, and that was the second Ray. The first Ray died a long time ago. And so it's Ray 3.
It's
And,
like in the 20s. It's a later episode.
and Shinji's like, "Holy cow, you're different. You're not acting right." And she's like, well, "I'm not acting right." And then she gets like flashbacks to Ray 2, and like she's like, "Holy cow!" I liked that.
Yeah, I think Ray's executed phenomenally well, actually. But I think that's about it for me. So I guess Ray is my best girl.
Oh God, this took a turn.
Can an object be best? I guess I chose Ramiel, so.
Yeah, you chose the tetrahedron.
Yeah, I
Ramiel
chose
was the best
tetrahedron.
angel though. He was so cool.
It was actually also like the only angel. Like the angels are supposed to be this like horrific, monstrous, like humanity is gonna end. A bunch of 14-year-olds that don't know what they're doing beat them every week.
Mm.
And like not in a like, oh cool, I'm watching like a Sentai show where like these kids can get together and like learn a lesson and do. It's just like watches these children flail against the universe but still somehow pull ahead.
Beginner's luck.
You can only beginner's luck once.
Yeah, and then
12
you get
angels in a
skill.
row. 12 angels in a row and it becomes the angels are just incompetent.
It's like when you just flip a coin so much, and you know, 95% of the time, it's going to be 50-50. But then there's that one time where it's not.
What happens to the other 4 times?
I didn't use time, I used percent, and then I used time. So
Great.
bad conversion there.
This is
But-
not best analogy. But yeah, fair enough. I just like I can't think the angels are threatening or scary or whatever. Because
I feel like it gets worse over time. Where at the beginning you're like they're a threat because nothing can do anything to them.
yeah,
and they're
'cause you see the
destroying
first
cities.
episode and they're terrifying.
Exactly. But as it goes on, and every week it's just like, oh, it's another angel. Time to beat the angel. It's
Like,
just like it
At
gets to a
least
point.
Ramiel
It's
was
just like,
scary.
okay. Mm.
Ramiel was scary, and the one that possesses an Ava is scary. And the one that
Yeah.
possesses an Ava is only scary because, like, not that it couldn't be beaten, because it was pretty takedownable, but, like, what it took to kill it. That
Mhm.
moment is actually, I think, for me, the best moment in Evangelion. So for those of you who don't know, there's an Ava that can take over, or there's an angel that takes over Avas in, like, the form of corrosion or something, tiny microorganisms. There we get a 4th pilot other than Rei, Asuka, Shinji, named Toji.
Yeah, so
Toji.
their entire classroom is filled with candidates that can operate the
They
Avas.
operate.
And no, they all have potential to do so.
That's
And it's like Shinji's best friend at that point. And he gets in an Ava and Shinji's like, oh crap.
And Shinji refuses, flat out refuses to kill him, which is fair. So, Ikari turns on the apparently we have this Eva autopilot.
Being his dad, I agree.
Yeah, Ikari, Shinji's dad. I forgot his last name.
Look, Shinji's dad was never claimed to be a good person.
No, he's a terrible person. But is it Gendo?
He loves Rei though,
Gendo.
because it's his wife.
Gendo. Oh, it's Gendo.
Oh, Gendo.
Ikari. It's Gendo
Gendo, that's his
Ikari.
name.
Yeah,
Ikari's
Ikari's
Shinji's
his last name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be. Yeah, Gendo Ikari. So yeah, Gendo just puts the autopilot on, and Shinji has to watch his own hands because the autopilot is just like a hand locker. It's so mean. So he has to watch his own hands, basically beating his best friend into oblivion, and that's fun.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think he ends up killing him.
No, he lives barely.
Yeah, he's like hospitalized forever though.
Yeah, he's not okay.
In the movies, in the
It's
rebuild,
Asuka.
so much better.
It's Asuka, which we care about a lot more.
and Shinji grows 4 arms. It's so sweet, and he just throttles him.
Oh, and also,
And
the
it
music
plays
design was
music.
really great.
Yeah,
It's like this like really upbeat, fun song. And
No, it's not. It's not a beat. It's a bunch of children singing like, "Isn't it great that we're friends?" or something.
Yeah, it's an upbeat, fun song.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
It's not
I
a
It was
remember that now.
wonderful. It was wonderful.
It's like a.
But unfortunately, this isn't that. I still think this is a great moment, though, because it's one of those moments where it's, like, not Monster of the Week, not, like, a waste of my time, it feels, but a legitimate moment where you're just like, oh, right, this is actually really awful for these kids to be dealing with.
Like,
And the adults are
So-
just operating through them and willing to sacrifice literally any of them to get what they need.
Yeah, I think that's the first sign that you think Gendo might be a dick. Just a
I don't
little
know
bit.
what that is. I think Gendo,
Sign.
like, I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of signs that Gendo might be a dick. Like, every episode when Gendo's in it.
Mm.
The thing that really gets the worst part, peak bad. This doesn't mean like it starts getting better after this point, because it doesn't. But peak bad is definitely episode 10. That is where they get Asuka in the stupid inflatable suit.
Did you see
and
the
go
funny?
into
It was
the
a funny
lava.
joke though. Did you see it? It was funny. She was fat. What? You don't? No. I feel like you guys aren't appreciating it.
I've never understood why did you
That-
need to put... She's in a mech, and the mech needs to wear a fat suit.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
literally
Yeah.
no
Because it's too hot.
point.
You got to put the mech in the fat suit, and then
And
you got to
literally-
fight the magma monster. It was great. I don't care.
There's not
it
a
was great.
single point in that entire show that's necessary in that episode. None of it. Like, you could have the entire show without it. It'd be fine.
If you
Then
just
we
skipped episode
wouldn't
2
have
by
all
accident, you would have noticed.
We wouldn't have all these cool Asuka figures though, of her just in a fat suit.
Are there Asuka figures in a fat suit?
Fully Asuka figures just in a fat
there?
suit.
I had to look up Asuka figures in a fat suit.
Anyway, while they're doing that, later on, okay, so episode 18 is the really good episode where it's Toji in the Eva as Shinji's friend, and from there it gets a lot more personal. They stop going into the Evas so much, and that's actually probably the point where Misato's story really gets fleshed out, because after he almost kills Toji, Shinji gets back into control and throws a temper tantrum and goes to the main headquarters of Neo Tokyo, God,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh man.
underground, and
Neo
starts, like,
Tokyo 3, by the
stomping
way.
on yeah, Neo Tokyo 3. He starts stomping on the main headquarters, and they have to flood his suit, and he gets put in prison for like the next episode. But then you see like Misato like trying to struggle with, like, she's like, oh my god, I can't control this kid that I was put in control of, and I think that's
Not
like,
that she ever like tried that hard, but yeah.
yeah, and like it comes to a crescendo how much she hates both Ritsuko and ponytail dude
Kaji.
Koji. Well, she loves them both as well. And
It's a whole
then Rei kills Ritsuko at some point. Actually, that might not be until the end of Evangelion.
I think Rei almost kills Ritsuko, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's not Rei who almost kills Ritsuko.
Gendo?
It's no, so it's the second half of, I think, like episode 15 or something, where they try to put Shinji in Rei's unit, and Rei's Eva goes berserk with not Rei in it,
Yeah.
and this has happened once before, and it had like held back from punching Gendo, but it just like breaks through and nearly kills Ritsuko.
Okay. Well, she does die in the end of Evangelion.
Yeah,
Because they
that's
turn
great.
into FLCL or LCL. They all turn into Fooly Cooly.
they all just turned into a Fooly Cooly.
Fury Curry.
There's some other points in this show that like bother me though, such as Shinji becomes liquid for an episode.
That's fine. That's what his mom did. He just wants to be like his mom, where he
And
just
then they had this
becomes
like,
fluid.
and then afterwards, like he talks to his mom in like the spirit world or whatever, and then she like rebirths him in the Eva. It's weird and uncomfortable. And figured it's symbolism, oh boy, but like
Also, in the later episodes, you get some more Asuka understanding where it's flashbacks. Ooh, who knew that there'd be flashbacks in anime? You see her when she's young, and her mother didn't love her. Her mother was always in the hospital, and she didn't care about. She didn't give enough attention to Asuka. And then, like, she comes into her hospital room one day, and she's like hanging from a knotted rope. And so like she sees her mom hanging there, and like that's probably where the majority of her issues come from.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can appreciate like Asuka's issues to some extent. Like
Yeah,
I
but they
can
just
appreciate
didn't-
all of their issues to some extent, but
They didn't present it well.
they presented it terribly. Not just that. And while it's like okay to be like, aha, all of these people have mental illnesses, and this is how we're like showing that, but it's all presented terribly. I'm not gonna lie, it's presented legitimately awfully. Like Misato like neglects Shinji a bunch, especially at like the lowest moments where it's like, I realize, Shinji, that you just beat your best friend into like near death, and you probably need to talk to someone about that. But I'm busy dealing with my own shit. Asuka's like completing over failure over and over, and like you can see her losing it, and not once does anybody else in the show be like, "Hey, maybe we should talk to her about that." Nothing.
Not
Nothing
everyone
at
can just
all.
stew it over themselves. They can just deal with their own problems. It's
And
fine.
like the people dealing with their own problems, it's done poorly as well. Especially like that's what my problem with Misato is. It's because like, man, the kids are in giant robots getting beat half to death every day. Like I can understand, and they're 14. I can understand them not being able to deal with their own stuff, right? Shinji's a 14-year-old kid with depression. Asuka's a 14-year-old kid with also depression. Like they have problems and they don't know how to deal with them. And on top of that, the entire world is on their backs. Great. What's wrong with Misato's life?
And she has to fucking deal with them all the time, though. So
She's an
isn't she the
alcoholic.
real hero?
But like Misato like gets so wrapped up in her own like storylines in life that she just doesn't pay attention to anything happening around her. And to the point where it's just like she doesn't even notice things at
I mean,
all.
She barely even does work.
Yeah, that's my problem. She doesn't even work. What's wrong? Come on, Misato. You get paid to basically babysit a 14-year-old and ask him, "Are you okay?" once in a while, and you forget to do that.
And show up to the control room and like pretend to be doing stuff by standing over Gendo's shoulder.
Misato's, I don't know. That's why I'm bothered by her because like she's the adult representation of mental illness, and she's awful.
So we were talking about some of the imagery before. There's a lot of Christian imagery and
Yes.
Buddhist imagery, Shinto imagery, and Jewish imagery. And so I really like Lilith's face, and like how it's all the stuff on it. I don't really remember what it means, but I think it's something to do with Shinto, Shintoism, and a lot of the allure from Evangelion comes from the other plot within it, mostly centered around Gendo, his advisor, and the 9, I think, or 8 other people in SEAL, which is the group that pretty much funded everything that Nerve is doing. And Nerve breaks away from SEAL and starts doing their own thing, but that might be going too far into the movies, Evangelion.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
But in essence, like, you learn that I think SEAL's plan is to protect the world, and Nerve is like, no, we're going to actually secretly work with the angels, but do it better than them, and create God. They want to create God
We're just gonna
I-
take humanity to its completion.
by combining every human into one being, and they all want to become Rei.
Mhm.
So are we ready to talk about the end? Because it sounds like we're ready to talk about the end.
I'm ready.
So none of that gets explained.
No, none. Zero.
Instead, we get
All right, imagine the last episode, Shinji just kind of went to his room and was bummed for a second. Cue next episode, it's in Crayon and humans are fusing together.
Okay, so I actually learned about some of. I watched a video about the lore and I understood like less than half of it.
it's
because
the
there's a lot of-
mentality project.
Yeah, it's human instrumentality, but like, and there's two factions where there's Seal that wants to do it because they want to be part of the hive mind, and then you have Gendo who wants to do it just because he wants to be with his wife because he never got over that. And then that's where the split is they want to do it for different reasons, and then so they're both working towards that, and everyone wants to fuse together and become one amalgamous blob of consciousness.
Great,
And
tell me where they told me about that in the anime.
Never. I don't know where it came from. maybe it's random throwaway lines.
Now I want you to instead tell me what happened in the anime without any of like the YouTube videos or like expanded universe stuff we've gotten to watch in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tell me right now. Just describe to me exactly what you saw. What happened in the anime?
So it's Shinji and a couple other voice actors talking over images of everything that happened in the previous episode. So they created a couple new frames. Some of it was the naked bodies of Misato, Rei, and Asuka falling onto Shinji and being like, "We believe in you," or something like that, or "I hurt too," or "It's okay to hurt," something like somewhat positive. And back into lore, because they need him to want to be a part of Rei in order to complete the circle.
He has walls of emotion around him or something.
Yeah. And so they're trying to break it down in the lore. But what it really is it's just the voice actors talking over old used images and black screens. For 2 episodes.
Did anything happen to describe like why this is happening?
Minutes.
Did any one thing in the show, did literally anything tell you what's happening? Or
it's almost all nonsense.
Was there even a warning?
What was the end of episode 24?
He goes to his room.
Well, you guys keep talking. I'm looking it up.
Shinji, I just looked it up. Like, I have the list beside me because I haven't watched it in like a few days or a few weeks. But like, there's no like begin human instrumentality project. It's just like, all right, Shinji is bummed. The end. Misato doesn't have time for Shinji. Next episode, blobs.
Mm-hmm.
And just...
Oh yeah, Kaoru said he loved me.
Yep. And then that's gone, or whatever.
Oh yeah, Kaoru, we should bring him up. So he's like
Kaoru then end.
He's this dude that people that disguises himself as just a classmate of Shinji's. Turns out he's an angel created from Adam, and
if he fuses with Adam, they destroyed the world or something.
They bring about the third impact, or something.
Which should destroy the world.
And it's kind of what Seal wants, but it's also what they don't want. I don't know why they're fighting against him, to be honest. But in the end, like, they don't like him. I don't remember why. He comes from the moon in Rebuild. That's where Adam is. He's on the moon.
The Rebuild at least gave Kaoru some screen time. He gets one episode here. Turns out, yeah, he's an angel. He tries to fuse with Adam, and then he's like, oh crap, Adam isn't Adam. It's a corrupted Lilith.
Yeah.
And then Shinji kills him. And then that's it. That's Kaoru.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to add. Oh, and he's also hella gay.
Only a little bit.
Shinji's bi too.
Yeah. He's hella gay for Shinji. What he sees in Shinji, I will never know. But
Dude, I feel like Shinji would hook up with anyone who will give him any affection in his life.
no, but see, like, I can get why Asuka's into Shinji. Because they both live the same fucked up, horrible life, and that makes sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
Kaoru's an angel from the moon.
He recognizes that Shinji's part of the circuit, and he's probably trying to break away those the emotional barriers in order to
fuse humanity or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Whatever. So are we to believe that the Human Instrumentality Project is the third impact, or at least in the original anime?
Yeah, it is. And
okay.
I like that in End of Evangelion, right after the third impact, there's like a hard reset in the world. In the end, I think it's Rei, Asuka, and Shinji are alive, and they hate each other.
I don't think Rei is. Rei's not, just Shinji and Asuka. Just Shinji and Asuka.
And then like all the water in the world is turned to blood. And so like it kind of ends there. And then in Rebuild, all the water in the world is red.
And also like Asuka gets an eye patch.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the leading theory right now is Rebuild takes place directly after End of Evangelion, and somehow like everything just did a loop.
I've read the theory. I get it because like Asuka's like DVD or whatever. It doesn't fit. Or her CD player or her cassette player. Sorry, 90s.
The Walkman.
Yeah. But theories aside, we're still here for the first anime. At the end of the day, we're here to talk about the 1996 Neon Genesis Evangelion and all of its beautiful... At the end, alright. So he deals with his emotional trauma over like blobs and crayon drawings and a few stills.
Sorry, I forgot what you were talking about. Yeah, the very, very end.
Yep. And then he gets over it. For some reason. He like imagines himself in high school in the last episode, and then is like, alright, I'm good. And then he fuses with everybody and gives us the greatest ending anime's ever seen.
It's everyone standing on a map of the world, clapping. Otarimasu. Congratulations.
Congratulations, you did it. You saved the world. I think.
Not sure.
Very confusing.
It's a thing that happened, and then the show's over.
See, I feel like this is the episode where Evangelion really comes into itself, and is what it's finally meant to be. It is art through limitation, Javon. You just don't understand the nuance behind everyone clapping for Shinji and telling him what a good job he did.
I think one of my biggest problems isn't just like that this ending is garbage, which it is, but that like you guys making sense of it and like having like, oh, he's the final circuit, they needed this, and these are people's motivations. They had 24 episodes before that, and 0% of those episodes, and I mean a literal zero, hard zero, was about that.
Well, they could
whenever Gendo was talking to Seal, that's like about all you get about it.
Yeah. See, they could either talk about Shinji being part of the circuit and the cycling of the world, or they could go into the volcano. So you know what's going to sell.
Like it was monster. It was so monster of the week, and then like I can get the first half being monster of the week because you need to do a thing, right? And then the second half is still monster of the week, but with like depressed Asuka, like monster of the week featuring Asuka goofing up, and then just like third impact, I guess.
I'm honestly mostly upset because obviously they at least had $1,000, right, by the end. I don't know exactly how much money they really had, but like they could hash out. They collectively about hashed out maybe 10, maybe like 6 to 8 minutes of like new footage. And it was all wasted in the last last 2 episodes, and like none of it was put towards something that was anything like a resolution, anything. And I think that's the worst thing to pull out of Evangelion is that you couldn't, like, you had at least some resources left. Like, could be bad budgeting, could be that the company was going under. They ended up doing okay in the end. And
turns out Evangelion really saves you some money.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything. They didn't make anything of the last 2 episodes. And I think that's the biggest fault of it.
No build up and no finish either. It's just this was a show and it happened. And like it's frustrating, I think. I think the reason I'm so frustrated by it is that, like, we've all been 16 at some point in our lives. Or you're going to be 16, audience people. I don't know. But, like, when you're a middle to young teenager and you're watching this show and you're like, oh my god, it's so deep, and like, oh my, wow, geez, oh great, goodness, golly me. And it wasn't. And, like, the reason anime survived, like, is because everybody was like, oh my gosh. But hindsight's 2020, and while hindsight gave us like a lot more Evangelion stuff and like a lot of anime and all of that, hindsight also lets you just look at this and be like, you dropped the ball. You dropped the ball on Evangelion itself, and that's why I don't feel like I should be required to have to like the anime because of what it did. Because it did amazing things. I cannot ever deny that. It did amazing things. But for itself, in and of itself as a show, it dropped the ball really hard.
Within a vacuum, it's a terrible show.
Within a vacuum, it's garbage. And that frustrates me to no end.
I would I haven't seen Lost, but from what I hear, the last couple episodes suck. Maybe even the last whole season. I can't remember. I would liken this to that, I suppose. I don't know. That was a terrible thing. I shouldn't have brought that up. I never even.
Sorry, I had a phone
I think
call.
I don't know. I think Evangelion at least is lucky enough to have the movies, so it's not like Lost, because Lost basically
got nothing.
retroactively destroyed itself and its legacy. But
Yeah.
Evangelion kind of saved itself, because it was like, hey, we have money now because everyone liked our weird bullshit show that cost us $30. So now we can make movies how we wanted to make them from the beginning.
Except it turns out they weren't how they wanted to make them because we keep remaking them, but hey.
Shoot, they'll get it eventually.
I
The
don't...
community won't stop giving them money, so they'll keep remaking them till they're perfect.
It's true. One day I dream of like seeing his original notes and just being like, so what did you actually want Evangelion to be? Because I don't think anything that we've gotten so far is. Unless I see his notes and he's just like blobs and everybody fuses together clapping.
I
And then I'm
think it
just
really
gonna
just
cry.
came down to, guys, do you want to finish the last 2 episodes or do you want lunch?
Fuck it. This dumb bullshit's not gonna make any money anyways. I'm just gonna watch this fucking stupid thing.
That's
Let's
the
get a
thing,
sandwich.
also. That's the also thing. Is that, JD, I think you actually hit that on the head with what you just
Okay.
said. In that, no. Because in hindsight, Evangelion was massive, right?
Mm.
What are you thinking when you're making Evangelion with a shoestring budgeted director who might be insane and, like, some crayons?
This is stupid. We put in a 3-minute scene of a girl and another girl in an elevator. Who's gonna watch this?
Like, legitimately,
Who's gonna watch this?
I don't think they realized what Evangelion was going to be.
Hmm.
Ever.
That's fair. It's so different that it's like it would have been so easy for it to not catch on, and everyone to just look at it and be like, "This is like boring and confusing," and just turn it off.
The fact that it caught on is, like, a minor miracle.
Mm.
And also, I feel like the studio can't have seen it coming. Otherwise, Gainax would have gotten money.
And, like,
So,
it didn't even catch on in the wrong way, like The Room.
oh
Like,
no,
it caught on
like,
exactly how
legitimately.
they wanted it to.
Yeah, it's like people are saying like this is a masterpiece, and it's like this is the most like crazy out there thing that's ever existed, and people loved it.
Like, in hindsight, there was a perfect storm that allowed this thing to exist. And it's good that it did. But as an individual show, I refuse to give it my recommendation, which is where I guess we're jumping into.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, Allan, did you have something else you wanted to talk about?
I completely missed the end talk. Like, I was listening, but I had a phone call during the entire, like, conversation about the
That was like
ending.
the best part! We just had such a good combo!
We did have previews and conversations toward the end.
So,
I was wondering why you were so quiet, Allan!
yeah, I was talking on the phone. Sorry.
Whatever, you can listen to our conversation when you upload the VOD on YouTube.
Yeah.
Final thoughts and ratings, Allan. Get your final thoughts out now.
Oh man, I loved that. I loved the, like, actual flipbook animation at the end.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. They dropped the ball really hard, and that's a lot of what we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I was still paying attention, so I had like a headphone in one ear and the phone to my other. It was kind of confusing at some points, but
I imagine it would be.
So I would recommend this show only because the show does not exist in a vacuum. If you remember, I gave it a dislike. However, I recommend it. I do not think that once you watch this, you're like, yeah, I'm done. You have to watch all Evangelion if you want to watch Evangelion. You have to watch the end of Evangelion.
Such
You have
a
to
high
watch the
barrier to
rebuild.
entry.
And yeah, you can't just watch this. You won't be satisfied, I think. And if you are, like, I don't know what to say about that. I don't. But, like, I don't think you'll be satisfied with it. So just prepare yourself, buckle in. Because I do recommend End of Evangelion. All right, a lot of people praise it. They think that it is the best anime movie ever because
I hate
it
those
fixes
people
everything.
too, but like whatever.
I thought it was okay. I prefer the rebuild.
I also really like Rebuild. It should be noted that we referenced it a few times. 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, time flies, huh? Me, Tom, JD, and a bunch of our other friends. Allan was not around for this bit. Sorry, Allan. Goodbye.
I still live near you. What that? Why?
Too bad, Allan. We spent a summer just watching all of Evangelion. And, like, we mean all of Evangelion. And I'm not going to lie, the only reason we got through it was because we could make fun of it with each other. At no point do I think anybody was 100% enraptured with the show. There were some good moments, especially when we got to the 1.11, 2.22, and 3.33.
2.22.
Ramiel, best girl. But
Ramiel's, I think, the end of 1.11.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah,
continue.
2.22 is when he punches Asuka to death.
Yeah.
Mostly to death. But those were legitimately great and good. Okay, no, not great. Those were legitimately, like, well-produced and good enough, but because of, like, what Evangelion is and the kind of taste that the original leaves in your mouth, don't watch Evangelion if you want to watch anime for the sake of, like, hey, I want to watch a fun thing. Because Tom said he'd recommend it. I'm going to give the caveat here. You're watching Evangelion for history. You're watching Evangelion so you can, like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get the history, or I get, like, the context behind, like, this thing that happened. But I'm not gonna lie, anime is really good right now. The last 20 years have been great to anime. I know people are, like, always like, oh, anime's dying, we need to save anime. Anime's fantastic at this moment. Look at today's, like, modern season, right now, fall 2017. It's incredible. You have a million shows you could watch that you're going to enjoy more than you enjoyed Evangelion.
I still stand by Moe as the death of anime.
What?
I'm
the
not a Moe
savior?
fan either, but
Moe
all right,
is
listen.
the new Evangelion.
All right, another day.
Forming the genre.
Wait, okay, so historically, as you were saying in context, I guess less historically, but more contextually, the studio was really, like, they had a lot of difficulty, like, getting this out in time. Obviously, the budget cuts were strenuous, and a lot of them fell into depression, like almost the entire studio. And I want to say, at the same time, they were working on another show. I can't remember the name of it. That show, I know you're supposed to skip, like, an entire 8 episodes because the director for this one, the director for this one went to. Was working on that show at the time, and he was like, "Oh no, I gotta focus on Evangelion, gotta finish it." And that filler director came in and, like, ruined the show, so he had to go back. Anyway, barely important. I'm just leading up to, they were so depressed and they wanted something easy, something nice, and something to kind of poke fun at Evangelion. So they did FLCL, which is our next show.
There it is.
Smooth transition.
Oh man.
Wait, JD,
I'm a little long-winded, I
Recommendation.
understand.
What's that?
what do you recommend?
Oh, I think
nice.
Evangelion should be taught in every Sunday school across all the churches.
Allan, I don't
And
think we got
that
your
it-
answer.
It's required reading for everyone.
Oh,
I-
the slice of life manga should be
Yeah.
required.
Allan,
Yes.
Allan,
Okay. I think that there, unlike the other two, I think there is actual merit to watching it for enjoyment. The ending itself is, like, just like Jovan said, like, it's not satisfactory, and you're gonna have to go to the movies to, like, get any sort of resolution.
you're gonna have to get to End of Evangelion. 3.33, the rebuild series does not have resolution, nor will it ever. But anyway, go on.
Yeah.
But I think the, like, unique sort of feel of Evangelion isn't really found in most modern anime. Like, so if that's your thing, I think I would actually really recommend it. Also, like Thomas said, he really enjoyed it when he was coming out of, I think either coming in or coming out of high school.
Coming in.
If you're in that stage of your life, go for it.
You'll enjoy it a lot more. This is the exact thing where like your logic brain bits are starting to function and fire off. This will be the great thing for you.
Yeah, I'm like 22. This is not my my cup of tea.
Nope. We've gotten old and now have taste, and it's a problem.
Still a young 20-year-old.
Guys, can I just talk
Appreciate
about
the
something really
platform.
quick about like growing up and making me sad, especially about this podcast? Is like I love Fate. I love the Fate universe. Fate Zero, incredible. UBW, one of my favorite things ever. I can even appreciate Dean Studios' Fate Stay Night. I don't love it, but I can appreciate it. The Fate universe, the light novels, the side games. I love Fate.
Too much.
Wait, no, I love it.
Branding.
But Apocrypha, the Apocrypha anime that is currently coming out right now. I love the story of Apocrypha. But god damn it, if the animation of the fights isn't so terrible that I haven't watched since episode 3.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's not
so-
god awful, but it's really disappointing.
It's not good, Alan.
I thought this was
It's
going to relate to
fine.
like
I think
age
it's
or
fine.
something.
It's fine for an average anime, like, but the expectations for it are so
No.
high now. Like,
I'm not gonna say the expectations for anime, not just Fate, for anime are higher, and that's where I'm getting at. Is like as we grow older, and as anime gets better and better, which I still firmly believe it is, things that would be like acceptable or mediocre 10 years ago, I can't stand now. Like if they come out now, if I watch them, like if I'm watching something from back then, I can give it more leeway. But
Well, just
watching
seeing
them
all
as
this
they
like.
come out now frustrates me so much.
Oh, by the way, I did want to mention Evangelion, all hand drawn, looks good for a hand drawn anime. But
pretty good, yeah.
I love like all the new technologies that are coming out. And anime is looking so good now. I can't wait till the moment where we can't tell what's anime and what's real life
That's
because it looks so
Dude.
realistic.
Eventually you'll be in your VR and it'll be so long that you'll unplug and it won't be real anymore. The only
Well,
real
why
life
don't
is your
you-
anime
What's
life.
the real
why
cartoon?
why aren't my wife and kids' eyes bigger than their face?
I'm the real cartoon now.
Oh,
Anime is what's real.
oh, no.
Exactly. That's where we're going.
Great.
The future.
Yeah, sorry, no, I just really wanted to yell at JC staff for like a second there. Anywho, or is that AC?
A1.
Who is it? A1,
Uh,
sorry. It's
Is it Gainax that did Evangelion?
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
so, yeah.
Gainax did Evangelion.
Yeah.
It's kinda-
Yeah, Gainax has tons of money now. Because
And
of
their
Evangelion.
CEO went to jail because of Evangelion.
What?
Tax evasion.
Oh.
They made all that money off of Evangelion, but like he needed it to pay off all of their debts. So he just did tax evasion on all of it, and that was bad.
Yeah.
You
He
can't go
thought
to
he could
jail
pass
for tax
Evangelion
evasion.
off as a church. Didn't work.
Apparently you can in Japan. So yeah, that was bad. But other than that, yeah. Oh wow, Gurren Lagann was Gainax? Did not think that.
It's not the same director.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not, except for maybe those like 3 episodes in the middle. But yeah, Thomas, tell me about Fooly Cooly. Why are we watching it? What's it about?
Fooly Cooly is really just the studio produced by Gainax. I don't know if they were studio back then or whatever. I don't know who drew it, but whatever. It was the people who directly worked on Evangelion, and they wanted to make a comedy, to make fun of it. It's about a kid who gets hit in the head with a bass guitar, and he's super angsty. He's pretty much Shinji, and he falls in love with the girl who hit him, who is an alien from outer space, and she's like, he's like 14, and she's like 25, and he is trying to figure out his way in life, and he's like got a crush on this girl, and then all of a sudden, a robot sprouts out of his head, and the main power plant in their town that is in the shape of an iron is trying to destroy all of the universe by ironing out the wrinkles of the brain of the world. And yeah, it's great. They don't take themselves seriously. They don't. Like they
That's
know
so
what they're
bad.
doing.
I'm so glad. I cannot wait.
God, the main general like has taped on eyebrows. It's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
Oh, and season 2 and 3 are coming out soon.
It sounds like hot trash, and I could not be happier.
No, like, have you not seen it?
No, actually, you haven't. I
No,
always mix a
it's
Fooly Cooly with
good.
another thing.
I promise. It's 6 episodes. It's very short.
I'm
It's,
mixing up Fooly Cooly with what's the other crazy girl, big guns, has Revy as the main character.
Black Lagoon.
Black Lagoon. Really? Is that Black Lagoon?
Revy's the main character of Black Lagoon. Yeah.
Why do I think everything is Black
What
Lagoon?
are you thinking of? Are you
I
sure you're
think
thinking of Black
everything is
Lagoon,
Black
where they're on the
Lagoon.
green ocean all the time and they're in the boat?
No, that doesn't
They're
sound right.
mercenaries?
No, definitely a desert in my head.
Desert?
What's happening?
What?
What are you talking about, dude?
I don't know, man. This is like a mystery show that I cannot functionally understand living in my brain.
Magi?
No, not Mog. No, they're in a tank.
A tank?
Girls und Panzer?
No. You know what? It's fine. I'd like to thank our special guest JD for hopping on board.
Not Steven?
Yeah, our special guest definitely not Steven in a mask as another guy.
Are you talking about the angel people?
No, that's not it. Those are on a motorcycle, I think. No, it's a different show with a girl on a talking motorcycle. So,
Something that oh, the talking motorcycle show?
no. See, that's a different thing, though.
Jeez, dude, what are you talking about?
Don't even worry
know
about
what is
it.
happening anymore.
Thanks, JD, for coming on. You guys will see JD again in, I believe, 3 episodes,
That's
where we talk about
from that.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's gonna-
Manliest of all anime, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Guys, you
I've
don't
never
understand.
seen it.
JD once spent like a 10-mile hike down a mountain just telling me about it. It
Dude,
was
this is one of my favorite things to ever exist on Earth. Is JoJo's. It's so weird. I love it.
A 6-mile hike at most.
Listen, it was a
It's
lot.
uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. We went up the mountain, then we went back up the mountain. That's the JoJo's way.
Hmm.
Alright, but next week will be Fooly Cooly. I think we will have Thomas's friend as a guest, a guy named
you
Matt.
should Matto. Yeah, you'll see him. He's an interesting character.
Wow, that's a sterling recommendation you got for him, bud.
He's fun. He's a lot of fun. He's really good.
Alright,
He's a good dude. He's got cool hair.
So look forward to that. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. We'll be back on Monday. And I guess goodbye. So congratulations, you've completed WeTaku.
Expect a lot of uploads in the next few days.